The palace has the main entrance to the house on Buenos Aires Street, but it develops side facades for São Domingos a Lapa Street and for Travessa do Norte a Lapa, with the back of the house and the chapel bypassed by Beco do Norte. The building was designed with an L-shaped plan opened by one with a patio facing the street of São Domingos a Lapa. It also includes a chapel with a bell tower and a lookout tower. The Palacete of the Counts of Montreal was designed as a family residence and it develops essentially on 2 floors above ground from the street of Buenos Aires. The main access is through a reception hall with stone columns and blue and white tile panels that surround the visitor, giving the space an imposing dimension with a traditional flavor, to which the monumental staircase gives greater spectacularity. From this atrium succeeds the rooms and bedrooms, originally intended for the count, wife, and children. On the right side of the atrium, the visitor accesses the reception room for the count's visits. These amazingly comfortable rooms of scale are, since their origin, richly decorated by a collection of tiles that introduces an important visual unity, but also a work area where Artur Porto de Melo e Faro would develop their business and receive daily visits. The room through which his office was accessed, the visitor can access the reading room. This entire area was exclusively dedicated to the Count's professional activities, and visitors did not cross the familiar area of the left side of the house or the upper floor. It is important to highlight, on this floor, the reading room that adjoins the courtyard and the chapel, with very generous dimensions, an imposing set of tiles with country scenes and the opening in successive windows and balconies torn to the patio and the view of the Tagus River. Still on this floor, and again from the atrium of the house, now on the left side, there were the sleeping quarters, the first being the Count's, followed by dressing rooms, then the Countess' room, and later children's bedroom. The chapel is accessed through a lighted corridor with windows to the courtyard and the street of São Domingos a Lapa. The corridor was originally open, but the immense cold and air circulation forced the family to place windows along the entire facade. From this corridor, it is also possible to observe the facade of the house, where the balconies of the reading room are located on the ground floor and its development on the upper floor. At the end of the corridor, you enter the chapel through the high choir or through the family box on the left side of the altar. The chapel is dedicated to Nossa Senhora do Carmo and features a magnificent set of tiles dedicated to the order of Carmelite monks and nuns. When the visitors leave the chapel, they have the possibility to observe the mastery of the architect in combining all the functional and decorative elements of the 2 facades of the palace that pour into the courtyard and the integration of multiple tile panels, namely in the base of a fresh cloister that surrounds the chapel. Again, from the main lobby, the visitor has access to the first floor by a monumental wooden staircase. A staircase surrounded by interior windows and magnificent wooden balconies with profusely worked aprons, over an imposing high ceiling with skylights, and a spectacular front tile panel which includes a window of mirrors in front of which descends a superb lantern. All these architectural and decorative elements impress the visitor as he moves to the reception floor of the house. Arrived here, the visitor can observe a succession of very generous rooms that develop along the main elevation of the house and successively in an anti-clockwise direction, along the street of San Domingo Lapa until the view reached the chapel's bell tower and an amazing view of the city and the river with the courtyard of the house below. The smoking room, the ballroom, the living room, the coffee room, surrounded by 20 windows and balconies, have a magnificent luminosity. The stoves, the wooden ceilings, and richly worked porches, the magnificent tiles give those spaces a restrained and elegant grandeur. Along the other side of the house, the breakfast room and the grand dining room develop around the chapel and complete the ensemble that masterfully reconciles the functional needs of a family with a desire to impress a visitor. Through the corridor that runs along the large dining room, the visitor can access the top of the lookout tower and marvel at the superb view of the city. The building is crowned by a top floor that was initially designed to accommodate the house's employees. There is a laundry with a south-facing drying rack ingeniously designed to not be perceived from the outside. All floors of the house are covered by a service staircase that goes down to floor -1 with exterior access. On this floor, the large kitchen of the house is located, opening onto the patio, discreetly protected by the rhythmic arches of the cloister.